Hey guys, welcome back to Resistance Chicks. We are your hosts, Leah and Michelle. Today is your weekly roundup. It is Friday, January 12th, 2017. Now, we brought to you 2 days ago, Project Veritas dropped a bomb on one particular person coming out in Twitter saying we can censor things. We are working with the DOJ and all this stuff. I'd like to be able to monitor all of Trump's tweets, etc., but they weren't finished. James O'Keefe had another ace up his sleeve.
He has several coming out. I think he said he had one coming out today. I have not been able to find that one yet. And again on Monday. This one is more explosive than the first one. And this coupled with Facebook coming out with more censorship,
right,
saying that they've now discovered that they are the curators of news. Facebook is the curators of news, and they need to decide what is reputable news and what's not. And somebody had asked, well, how are they going to decide what's reputable or not? And one of the criteria is going to be, do people actually pay for it? So wait a minute.
So if it's free, then it's not reputable news.
Right.
But you know what? The mainstream media was supposed to be, historically, something that you didn't pay for unless you watched ads, correct? It was just streamed through the airwaves, which now it's not. Everything has to be digitally done. But that's exactly what YouTube was supposed to be. You watch the ad, so you're paying through, the watching. So it's the exact same thing, or it's supposed to be.
Yeah, so we're going to cover the Facebook one because they're really going to go through people's feeds and they're going to prioritize friends and family and deprioritize, meaning what they call shadow banning. As you're going to see in this, what is shadow banning? Shadow banning is what we experienced and what all conservatives, right-leaning, libertarian, truth people, even people on the left who are bringing forth truth, like with Syria or something. I just saw Jessica Biely, who is a truth reporter on the left with Syria, uncovering what the white helmets are doing. She's been shadow banned, or anything that shadow banning is kind of like anything that they do where you don't necessarily know. They don't send you a notification.
They just bury your story. They just put it at the bottom basement under a stack. And that's exactly what YouTube is. It's a stack. You open it up. And our videos used to be at the top of the stack consistently, and they started shadow banning us and burying us and putting us at the bottom of the stack. But of course, they're not going to tell us that. They will tell you that your ads may not be advertiser friendly. That's one thing they will inform you of.
When they tell you that, what's funny is that we knew that our why do we have two channels and why are we on Mass Faith 3? We thought we had a small little channel where we put homesteading stuff on and Christian stuff and little sermons and stuff.
That's where you're at right now.
This is Mass Faith 3. And we decided that we wanted to do a political channel and not bother our few hundred subscribers on Mass Faith 3. So we decided to make a Resistance Chick channel. Consistently, the Mass Faith 3 channel, same videos would get put to the top
of the stack.
And then all of a sudden on Resistance Chicks got flagged. So all those videos were being demonetized.
Well, not just demonetized, they canceled our channel.
Well, they canceled our channels, but then they also demonetized the same videos, exact same title, exact same thumbnail, exact same tags on Mass Faith 3 hadn't been on the radar yet.
Exactly.
And
now we're on the radar.
They were monetized still.
Right.
Same videos. And so now Mass Faith 3 is on the radar. People, I think we told you, like Josh Sigurdson of World Alternative Media. He was his income has gone down 95%. There are
95%.
Yeah, and the people are having to go to Patreon. But if the Patreon doesn't like you, then they'll.
But see
they won't let you.
Even the Patreon accounts rely on the viewers to be digging in their own pockets to give you money, which is why we didn't do that, because we don't want your money. Taking it from the ads, I don't say, it's not like that sounds really awful. We don't want your money. But what I mean is I don't want you guys to have to give us money. That is not what we want. We want for you guys to be able to use that to minister to single moms around you, etc. But the ads, it's not, I don't have a problem having you guys watch an ad and then we earn revenue on that. But I want to give a shout out to Cecilian Gal, who has been with us for 2 years. So she's one of those viewers that was with us from the homesteading, Virgin Diaries, that whole 9 yards. So she's here with us in the chat right now.
All right, so here we go. James O'Keefe. We're gonna watch this. It's insane.
Adventure, betrayal, truth. Pre-order today.
We knew it was happening, but now we have proof.
Right.
Let's say it was a pro-Trump thing, and I am anti-Trump. I was like, oh, I banned this whole account. It'll go to you, and then it's at your discretion. And if you're anti-Trump, you're like, oh, you know what, Mo was right. Let it go.
The idea of the shadow ban is that you ban someone, but they don't know they've been banned because they keep posting, but no one sees their content. So they just think that no one's engaging with their content, when in reality no one's seeing it. I don't know if Twitter does this anymore.
How do you know if it's a bot and not a normal person?
Use machine learning. Look for Trump or America, and you have like 5,000 keywords to describe a redneck. And then you look and you parse all the messages, all the pictures, and then you look for stuff that matches that stuff.
So is it gonna essentially ban certain mindsets and/or people who could be negative?
No, it's not gonna ban the mindset. It's gonna ban the way of talking.
You have access to DMs of Twitter? Oh, I do.
For one, bad press if people figure out that you're shadow banning them, it's unethical in some way.
Trying to downrank it, we're trying to get the shitty people not to go off.
Yeah, they say, oh, this is pro-Trump. I don't want it because it offends me. This, that. I say, I ban this whole thing.
Everything employee on Twitter hates Trump. What we can do on our side is actually very terrifying. Our last video exposed Twitter's eagerness to turn over President Trump's direct messages to the Justice Department. We think today's release will help you understand why. Because although Twitter presents itself as politically neutral, its culture behind closed doors is one of blatant censorship, systematic bias, and political targeting. While many suspected this was the case,
like us,
today
like you,
we present the proof
I love it.
out of their own Twitter mouths.
So probably about 90% anti-Trump, maybe 99% anti-Trump.
It's really hard to decide what to do about Donald Trump. Yeah, half of the people want to ban him, half of the people want to keep him.
Does everybody at Twitter feel? Pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, you got to go to Google in order to find the conservative.
I'm in touch with safety. I do all the policy work for safety policy. I'm in a controversial team. Oh my goodness! I'm the team everyone says a lot about, yeah.
Olinda Hassan is a policy manager for Twitter Trust and Safety. Her team is responsible for Twitter's rules and regulations, determining what content is and isn't allowed. Just last month, Trust and Safety updated their policy in an effort to crack down on racism and other forms of hate speech.
But how do you keep, my timeline, how do you keep certain things off my timeline? So, because people will, we're trying to downrank it, but you need to also have a control of your timeline. So I've tried to, block people, Cernovich and stuff like that, and mute and stuff like that, but they still show up. All the time. That's something we're working on. I don't know. It's something we're working on. We're trying to get the shitty people not to go off. It's a product thing we're working on.
We wondered which people Hassan was referring to.
Trying to get the
what forms of free speech does Twitter want to stop from showing up? Former content review agent Mo Narai shed some light.
Let's say it was a pro-Trump thing, and I am anti-Trump. I was like, oh, I banned this whole account. It'll go to you. And then it's at your discretion. And if you're anti-Trump, you're like, oh, you know what, Mo was right. Let it go.
Narai's job at Twitter was to review content, flagged as harmful, offensive, or in violation of Twitter policy, and ban it if it was. Content review is an integral part of any social media platform. But as Narai describes, it is highly susceptible to abuse.
On stuff like that, it was more discretion on your viewpoint. I guess how you felt about a particular matter.
Oh, so it wasn't automated. It was a user and services person would deem it pro-Trump and take it down.
For example, they said, oh, this is pro-Trump, I don't want it because, it offends me, this, that. I say, I ban this whole thing, and it goes over, and you're like, oh, you know what, I don't like it too. You know what, Mo's right, let's go. That's it. You're like, Mo's right, let's carry on. What's next? Keep it coming.
Yeah, bring me another one to take down. Yeah.
So I flag something that's going to go by you,
Correct, and then you look at it, you're like, oh hey, this is pro-Trump, and this might probably like, oh, I don't like it.
Yeah, so on the reverse of that, they would just let a lot of the, I guess, left-leaning or liberal stuff to go through unchecked.
It can come through check, and then I'll be like, oh, you know what, this is okay, let it go.
Narai suggests Twitter's content review is more than a safeguard against hate speech. It's a tool used to promote a political agenda.
You made the comment that, Twitter maybe wouldn't, verbally say some things that they, wanted to put in their company policy, but they were kind of unwritten rules as far as the content that they would allow or disallow.
A lot of unwritten rules, and being that we're in San Francisco, we're in California, very blue state, you have to be, as a company you can't really say it because it'll make you look bad, but behind closed doors, a lot of stuff was like, hey, you have to do this way, or something like that. It was never written, it was more said.
But it may not just be average users feeling the heat. Does Twitter target certain political figures for suspension? And more importantly, why?
I should ask about this. Yeah, it's a really good point.
Pranay Singh is an engineer for Twitter's direct messaging team.
Why did they take his account down a couple weeks ago?
I didn't know we did that.
Yeah, his account went down, for a while.
Oh, it might be the U.S. government pressure.
What?
Yeah, they do that.
They do?
Yeah.
Why?
Because they don't like people messing with their politics. And he got shit on a lot of people.
Wow. He said the U.S. government would have done that. Would have asked Twitter to do it.
Oh, yeah.
What is Twitter's tactic when it comes to censorship? To find out, we spoke with former Twitter software engineer Abhinav Vodrevu.
One strategy is to shadow ban so that you have ultimate control. The idea of a shadow ban is that you ban someone but they don't know they've been banned because they keep posting but no one sees their content. So they just think that no one's engaging with their content when in reality no one's seeing it.
Shadow banning is a way of blocking users from a social media platform without notifying them. Tweets from a shadow banned user still appear to their followers, but don't show up in search results or anywhere else on Twitter. It's an effective way of deterring Nigerian scammers and other online fraudsters. But if abused, shadow banning is dangerous.
You just sort of turn off all of the features for them, so they still see everything, it's all there. You can like it, you can favorite it, or you can retweet or whatever. But at the end of the day, no one else interacts with no one else sees what you're doing. So all that data is just thrown away. It's risky though.
Why is it risky?
Because people will figure that shit out and be like, it's a lot of bad press if people figure out that you're shadow banning them. It's unethical in some way, so I don't know. In the past, people have been really, really pissed off about that, and even people who haven't been shadow banned have called it a really terrible thing to do. So yeah, it's a risky strategy.
And so you go ahead and keep on tweeting.
Yeah.
And you've been banned and don't even know it.
Yeah. I definitely know Reddit does this, but I don't know if Twitter does this anymore.
Could shadow banning be used to stealthily target political views? Here's former Twitter engineer Conrado Miranda.
I've heard talk that it's a good thing because they'll use it to ban Trump supporters or conservatives. So I didn't know if that's just a rumor or if that's true.
That's a thing.
That's a thing?
That's a thing. Yeah.
So how? How was that done?
Okay. Basically, Twitter is a huge set of the tweets and a shitload of filters on top of it.
Okay.
That's one of the filters on top of it.
Okay.
That's about it. That's as much as I know about.
So a feature on top of it?
Yeah, imagine you have all the tweets ever that happened from the beginning of time, reverse chronological.
Right.
So until we get to the actual system that ranks the timeline, we just we have a bunch of filters removing some tweets. So we have a stream of tweets and we have one filter just kicking out
just
some
kicking
of them.
out tweets.
Our conversation with Miranda was illuminating. Twitter's censorship practices go far beyond a few politically motivated techies. Twitter is run by an advanced set of algorithms, tools that are used to sift through vast amounts of data, or in this case, tweets. Their algorithms block, mute, and prioritize everything on the Twitter platform, and they're growing smarter by the day.
Just go to a random tweet and like just look at the followers. It'll all be like guns, God, America, like with the American flag and like the cross.
Yeah,
something.
no one really America. No.
Like who says that? Who talks like that? It's for sure a God.
It's for sure a God.
Yeah. Or a redneck.
Rednecks don't exist.
Sure, a Russian bot.
So can you get rid of them?
I wouldn't know.
Can you get rid of them?
Yeah.
Like how do you do that?
You just leave them, but like the problem is there are hundreds of thousands of them, so you've got to like write algorithms that do it for you.
Pranay Singh described how one Twitter algorithm removes users they believe to be bots, Russian bots.
How do you know if it's a bot and not a normal person?
Oh, you use machine learning.
It's like an algorithm that you write where like you can like look for things, right? So like if there's like people who are like American guns, and you like write an algorithm to just take all those people out.
Oh, yeah. It's actually how we do it, yeah. It's pretty cool. You should be an engineer.
You should be an engineer.
So can you just write them against like, so like say someone has like Trump in the name, like, or like conservative or
America first.
Yeah.
Can you just like write algorithms?
Are you sure you're not a programmer? That's literally how you do it.
Exactly how you do it.
What?
That's how you do it. Like,
Exactly how you do it.
yeah, you look for Trump or America, and you have like 5,000 like keywords to
5,000
describe
keywords to
a
describe a
redneck.
redneck.
And then you look and you like parse all the messages, all like the
All their
pictures, and then you look for like
messages,
stuff that matches
all
like
their pictures.
stuff. And like if it, so like you assign like a
assign
value to each
value to
thing.
it.
So like Trump would be like 0.5, like
They
a
say
picture of a
word
gun
Trump.
would be like
Gun.
1.5. So
Picture of
like
a
if it
gun.
comes up, the total comes up above like a certain value, then it's a bot.
Totally bot.
Weeding out fake users is an important tool for Twitter, but according to Pranay, this tool is not applied equally across the political spectrum.
The majority of the algorithms are against conservatives or liberals.
Are the majority against conservatives?
I would say the majority of it are for Republicans. Because they're all from Russia and they wanted Trump to win.
They're all from Russia.
So you're supposed to get rid of them.
I knew that.
We're supposed to try to get rid of conservatives.
This secret project you're working on is going to help people communicate better?
That's the goal. So what I'm working on, okay, this is the goal of what I'm working on. Okay, ultimately, the goal of what I'm working on is going to make it so that everything in Twitter is dynamic.
This is Twitter software engineer Stephen Pierre. He told our undercover journalist about a secret project involving machine learning. In the tech world, machine learning refers to algorithms that teach themselves how to solve problems, eliminating the need for human input. It may sound like something out of a Stanley Kubrick movie, but machine learning is all too real, and it's about to take over your social media feed.
Every single conversation is going to be rated by a machine.
Every
And the machine's going to say whether
by a
it's a
machine.
positive thing or a negative.
Whether it's positive or
And whether it's
negative.
positive or negative, that's nothing to do with the content. But more it's like if somebody's being aggressive or not, right? Somebody's like just cursing at somebody like, oh, whatever. They might have a point, but it'll just like vanish.
It will just
So
vanish.
they're gonna like essentially ban certain mindsets and or people who could be negative?
No, it's not gonna ban the mindset. It's gonna ban like a way of talking.
Ban a way of talking. See, Twitter may fancy itself the global town square, but it's clear from our reporting that Twitter is not an open and unbiased platform. Anonymity of its internal policies have bred irresponsibility and abuse. If Twitter wants to convince its users it truly respects free speech, there must be some transparency. Bring shadow banning out of the shadows. Algorithms are only as good as the weights that are put on them. So take your thumb off the algorithmic scale. Get rid of the engineers that abuse their power and show us your HR policies. Jack Dorsey, stay true to your mission statement to, quote, give everyone the power to create and share ideas and information instantly without barriers,
Oh.
or become irrelevant.
Sounds like a lot of
And
barriers.
stay tuned, Jack
to me.
Dorsey, because we at Project Veritas are just getting started.
Fantastic. All right, that's going to be super loud before you play your next video. I want to turn it down. But so there were a couple of comments that I wanted to get back to here. Let's see. Rosa Sharon, aka Stacy, says, here's the thing. Because this is a privately owned business, there's nothing anybody can do about this censorship. Same goes for YouTube and Facebook. True free speech is in the real world, not online.
Yes and no. Because Twitter and Facebook have become, and this is up for debate now, but Twitter and Facebook have become, and YouTube have become what's called
a utility.
A utility, to where you know, it's kind of like housing. You can't discriminate with housing. You can't discriminate with the post office. Can't discriminate what letters they let through.
Right.
And so we have a level of morality. Obviously, it changes day by day because people swear up and down all over the internet, and that's not a big thing.
Right.
But if you say something, you know, against Islam or something, then you're banned. Makes no sense. So right now, because of this, Milo and Roger Stone have, they're coming together with a lawsuit.
No for-profit business can discriminate. You have to treat them
Yeah, here's the thing. No for-profit business can discriminate against users or somebody who participates in their, like, it's like the bakers, right?
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Go ahead then.
Well, if you can, and I don't actually necessarily agree with this, but it is true. If you can discriminate and make a baker bake a cake for a homosexual couple, or a photographer photograph a wedding that's for homosexuals, then you can't censor this sort of thing. I think the entire, you know, I'm kind of more towards libertarian. Everybody has their own individual rights to do what they want, but here's the difference. These are corporations that we're talking about, and one of the biggest downfalls that we have had in the United States was giving corporations the rights of citizens. Freedom of speech and the freedom to censor something in your business. Let's say a printer doesn't want to print something. Okay, that is an individual that says, I do not agree, my religious beliefs go against it, whatever. That individual has the right. Corporations do not have the right of a human to censor what goes through, because it goes against all of the politically correct laws that we have right now.
Especially if it doesn't go against its terms of service, right?
But YouTube keeps changing its terms of service.
YouTube and Facebook and all these things, you sign up, you say, I agree to your terms of service, right? But if you agree to a term of service, then they have to agree to a term of service. You're actually engaging in a contract, even though no money has been exchanged. So YouTube has promised, this is what I'm going to do as YouTube, and Twitter says this is what we're going to do as Twitter. Right? And if anything, they need to be called out for their intense hypocrisy, because right now, Twitter is, and I was never a tweeter or Twitter.
You are now.
Until last year, because what was everything happened first on Twitter. Everything, because it takes forever sometimes to write an article. And so when it comes to, you know, Twitter and Facebook, for them to censor news, it's a tricky road, and it's something that we have to fight. And everybody says, well, why don't conservatives come up with this? Why don't conservatives come up with that? Well, remember, our government, nobody can come up with these things without intense financing. And some guys actually tried to come up with a YouTube, but the model wasn't, you know, couldn't be kept up. YouTube runs at a loss, even with the ads, but it's held up by Google. Google was helped funded by our CIA and our government, and Google has a monopoly on the internet. Some people say, well, you can use different browsers. But everybody knows that in order to get advertising, in order to get your business to be advertised, you've got to buy Google advertising, because everyone goes to Google. So it definitely has to be regulated at this point, and I'm a libertarian. But when you've become a monster, there has to be some regulation. I want to give you, I brought up this Breitbart article because Twitter was a place where you could just say whatever within certain bounds. Breitbart has also interviewed several former employees of the company, and they have revealed this whole hostile to free speech. They are silently fuming at the president, Trump's continued dominance on the platform, which, if there's any bright side, it's that they really can't shut Trump down. And that even if they don't get Trump's tweets out there, they probably shadow ban even the president's tweets, but we all see them because they get people just go there. You know, you can obviously see anybody's tweets if you go to their timeline. It just doesn't get put in your timeline. So, I say the Breitbart's first source, who like others wishes to remain anonymous, described how the company rapidly abandoned its commitment to free speech after former CEO Dick Costello was replaced by Jack Dorsey, who the source described as the definition of a social justice warrior. So you have these soy boys in charge of this Twitter thing, which is hilarious to see. That's why they let Antifa go in and commies and all that stuff. The majority of Twitter's management, says the source, believes the leftist idea that hate speech is violence. So if you say anything against, that's why Milo got kicked off, because he said something negative towards an actress, this black actress who was on SNL and in Ghostbusters, and I guess she had her agent and other Hollywood celebrities say, well, we are going to pull out of Twitter. And Twitter runs on celebrity fuel. They want people to follow the celebrities, to watch the gross, disgusting Kardashians and things like that.
I remember when we were kids, and our dad was verbally abusive. And I know when you were a kid, you said that you used to think, I wish he would just hit me, because then I would have something that I could take to court.
Right.
I'm sorry, as bad as it may feel to have somebody say something not nice to you, it is not the same thing in the eyes of the law as being hit, okay? And while I do believe in cases of domestic violence, that children should be taken out of situations like that when you're a full-grown adult, and somebody may say something that you don't like, they did not just smack you in the face, as much as it may feel like they did.
Even if they call you the most horrible, vile things. Seriously, there are people in a box on the internet that aren't even saying it to your face. The left has, forget thick skin. It's absolutely insane. So,
remind me at the end of the show to take them out to show them what's going on outside. I just let the dogs outside. I mean, we are we're in a storm here.
Snow. So, according to the source, Twitter's Trust and Safety and Legal Departments, distinct from the Trust and Safety Council, are more tolerant of free speech than you might think, but later adds that social justice warriors like Anita, I can't pronounce her last name, still probably have direct access to Twitter's upper management. Twitter employees are divided into 3 distinct groups, says the source. Hardline leftists like Dorsey and others, and the ACLU-type liberals who still believe in free speech. Lastly, there are workers who join the company on H-1B visas, who the source says are apolitical, so foreigners. We saw all those foreigners.
Yeah.
So people coming over from...
And they're going to want to do whatever the, majority says.
So the switch from Costello to Dorsey was highly significant, says the source. Costello focused on user growth without taking a position on what non-illegal content. So, you know what, guys? You have to realize that these spaces, these internet spaces, if it's not illegal, every speech should be allowed. If it's not illegal. It makes no sense.
Child pornography? Illegal.
Right.
I kind of think regular pornography should be illegal, but that's just my morality stance.
Well, I can see why that would be illegal for internet. That has to be behind some sort of
I'm
wall.
just saying, these are things that make sense. Anything outside of that, if somebody says something, it's a word. It's a word. And that doesn't violate anybody's personal. If child pornography violates the child, even regular pornography is violating that human, violating the person seeing
Dorsey guy wants to make Twitter welcoming, fun, and safe. It wants to turn it into a feel-good, safe space. So it doesn't matter if we think that it's fun and feels good to say babies should be, born and be pro-life. Twitter has consistently blocked pro-life groups from buying ads and from putting up sonograms of babies.
Because
that is hate speech against Planned Parenthood.
Yeah. Here's the thing, though. I don't really find the leftist, when they get political, to be very fun and cheerful and nice
No.
and happy.
Robert De Niro went on like a crazy rant the other day.
That from the left.
So, according to second source, the company openly celebrates when right-wing figures are banned from the platform.
Yay!
Yeah, there was a great deal of celebration at Twitter when Milo was banned, and they actually use units of Milo to say whether they should ban somebody or not. So, if they're like half a Milo, they're small, go ahead and ban them. If that person is like 2 Milos, has the celebrity of 2 Milos, and you can't ban them because that would be too much of a backlash for banning that person. That's why Michelle and I are always talking about this.
We're too little.
No, that's the thing. We could be banned easily.
Yeah, you're right.
The little people get off. Like that's why they're doing Josh Sigurdson. Not that he's little, but he's smaller than like a Ben Shapiro, or a Steven Crowder.
Right.
So they really can't. I mean, even David Icke was knocked off Facebook. He's back.
I'm not going to be really upset if they ban us from Twitter. We're just using it because it's a tool that we can use. But it's kind of like, you guys don't understand. If you ban all of the relevant people on Twitter, that was a good job.
I know.
All the relevant people on
They
Twitter
can't really ban
are
me.
conservatives.
So I don't really say much. It's when you engage in people and you say things. Like, I don't actually really.
But you understand what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Like, the only people on YouTube and on Twitter that are saying anything of importance, that are making a ruckus, that are making it relevant, are conservatives. So if you get rid of them all,
There's
won't
Alyssa
have anything
Milano.
left.
When it comes to politics, you're right. It's all dominated by conservatives.
Right.
Libertarians. Completely. There's just very few. I mean, like, when it came to running for Hillary, they had to pull out Chelsea Handler.
Really?
I mean,
really?
Are you kidding? Like, nobody. There's a few people who go on there and say crazy stuff, but not very many. So there's definitely a huge
I have to be
double
honest.
standard.
Trump has probably, and this is a complete guess, I'm just throwing a ballpark figure out there, has probably doubled Twitter users. Because Trump is getting messages out to the people via Twitter. And so if you want to follow the president, you're going to be on Twitter, no matter what side of the aisle you're on, the right or the left.
Right.
The fastest way to get the news from the president is through Twitter. And so if they get rid of Trump and they get rid of Trump supporters, Twitter, you become like a nothing. You vanish off into the wind. You go silently into the night.
So Google keeps tampons in the men's restrooms because
we've covered that.
Some
That's
men
so
menstruate. However, Twitter does as well. I guess they did that during Gay Pride Week, and they replaced the men's room sign with the gender confusion sign.
Huh?
Yeah, and similar to Google, where sources familiar with the matter say senior executives were reportedly on the verge of tears after the election of Donald Trump, the source describes a scene of shock and despair at Twitter after election night. People were huddling in groups and crying.
Oh, I guess they weren't praying.
SJW ally men were white knighting to comfort the women, and management sent out a memo saying that if anybody was too distraught to be productive to the office, they should just take the day off.
And here's the thing. At our house, if Hillary Clinton had won, we would have just prayed. I don't think that was going on at Twitter.
Yeah, I mean, Barack Obama was elected twice. We can get through anything.
Yeah, but they seem to think they won't get through this. You'll get through it just fine. You'll be okay. Oh my gosh, it's just sad.
Yeah. So
and Google is where the conservatives are. Ha ha, says Trying Agreement. And I found that really funny. Like, if you want to find a conservative, go to Google. I'm like, there's not really any conservatives at Google.
Right.
Patriot Gallery.
Well, you know what? The reason they legalized abortion was it was mentally painful for a woman. Yeah. You know, stretch marks, things like that. But anyways, I'm just thinking that this, you know, you're talking about all the people crying and they were in pain. This is why mental abuse is wrong. What CNN, ABC, True. MSS did, they should go to court for this. I mean, they should be in jail for this. They did this to these people. They didn't tell them the truth from the beginning that Trump was way ahead. Yep. They never showed how much people backed and supported Trump. They never showed the big rallies. So people would say, wow, there's a lot of people back and supporting Trump.
MSM is wholly responsible for the trauma that these people suffered on the
election. Yes, they're guilty.
They are guilty.
Public school teachers are guilty. Public school teachers fill these kids with, oh, it's going to be awful. We're all going to die. If Trump gets elected,
making children
it's
afraid.
Wrong to use fear in such a way.
Yes,
it's just wrong.
It is wrong.
All right, so
disturbance is a crime.
Off with their heads.
The next big news We don't curse, and actually, Patriot Gallery put a word in quotes on Facebook. And,
ASS. Our mom does not curse. She's the reason we don't curse. Well, the primary, I guess, foundation of that.
The same day that one of our viewers was like, why did you use that? Why did you put ASS in quotes on your Facebook page? Why are you swearing? Are you supposed to be Christians? The whole world exploded with SHIT. Like, everywhere, because if you, I don't even need to tell you, everyone knows that somebody, and now it came out that it was some Democratic aide who said that Donald Trump said that Africa and Haiti were
a blank hole.
Manure holes. And he actually came out and said that he didn't actually use that word. He used strong language, but he didn't actually call them that. So everybody's up in arms over nothing. However, everyone has pretty much said, well, I would say everybody right of the New World Order, that's my new thing.
Right of the New World Order.
Is saying, well, Haiti is in a place where any sane person wants to live, and if you're going to Haiti, you're probably a missionary to help people.
Right.
And the left social justice warriors are up in arms, and they got Don Lemon everywhere, and all these people saying, if you didn't think that Trump was a racist now, before than he is now. And I guess they actually used the word without censoring it like 26 times. I know they have no censor anymore. They have nothing holding them back.
Everything was bleeped.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you wanted, as a matter of fact, even on cable television, movies were bleeped. You had to, in order to watch a movie that did not have curse words bleeped out, you had to watch HBO or Showtime or something like that.
Right.
And for sure, on any mainstream channel, Fox, CBS,
Plus,
NBC.
and it's not that they're even playing a tape of him saying it.
They're just saying it. They are saying it.
A source said it, and they're saying it over and over and over again. So I want to play this for you. This is Raheem Kassim blasts Sky News saying that London is actually not an awesome place to live. So...
Raheem Kassim is the editor of Breitbart London. He joins me now from Washington, and many thanks indeed for joining us this evening. What does it say about President Trump when he refers to countries like Haiti, El Salvador, and other countries in Africa as shithole countries?
There he goes saying it again.
Well, I suppose we'll start with the fact that he's denying having used that language. This is following a meeting in the Oval Office with some Democrats who had just been informed that they weren't getting an amnesty deal for illegal immigrants. So I'm not entirely sure of how reliable it is.
Well, he's denying the use of that language, but Democrat Dick Durbin has been
He's denying the language, but everybody is swearing everywhere. He's denying he said it, but you're going to quote it and you're going to say it.
Right.
It makes no sense.
Because, well, they can't be like Leah Michelle, because they would look stupid if they said poo-poo hole.
Democrats been in Congress for 20 years, said that President Trump did use that language. Are you saying that he's lying?
No. I'm just trying to put it in context for you. Personally, I hope he did use that language, Gamal. I think it shows a frankness, a willingness to have a conversation that isn't sort of varnished with political correctness. He wants to know why America has a big illegal immigration problem. Let's not forget, the OECD puts out statistics every year, the United Nations, Transparency International, all the corruption indexes. They put out statistics every year that show that there are a handful of countries out there in the world that are pretty bad. I mean, I don't want to use the word on air,
pretty
but
bad is very different to describing a country as being a shithole.
Well, look, if you want me to say it, they are shitholes. Gamal, it is the case. There's no getting around it, and he's not saying that they are because they're bad people there or anything like that. It might be due to corrupt regimes. It might be due to factors out of the control, environmental factors. There might be education problems there. But there are countries that you and I wouldn't want to go on holiday in and sun ourselves in, and I think that's what he's getting at. It shouldn't be shocking to anybody that there are horrible places in the world that are horrible for the people who live there to live. And instead of actually getting het up about the phrase used, maybe we've got to ask ourselves, why is Haiti in such a dire situation?
Is it appropriate that the United States president should use a phrase describing countries such as Haiti, El Salvador, or countries in Africa as shitholes. You think it's appropriate for a president of a country, a leader of a country, to use that term, to use that phrase?
Yeah, well, let's look at Barack Obama, who gave an interview. Let's look at what Barack Obama said about swearing in the Oval Office. He said it's a great thing for presidents to be able to do to relieve stress. Joe Biden, when the Obamacare legislation was passed, described it on live microphone as a big effing deal. So I think the level of appropriateness has already been set by Trump's predecessors on this one. So my answer is, yeah, it's perfectly fine.
You think it's fine that, I'm not talking about Barack Obama, I'm not talking about any other leaders.
Of course you're not.
We're talking about this president describing a country as a shithole country. You think that's fine?
Yeah, I think that's fine.
Okay, what about President Trump saying that he's not going to come to the United Kingdom and open this embassy? What is your thoughts or reflections on that?
Well...
Have we lost him? Have we lost Raham? Oh, what a crying shame.
What a crying
shame! We will move on. We've just got a very brief statement, actually, regarding that story about President Trump not coming to the United Kingdom to open that embassy. Raham, are you back? Is he back?
Right here.
Smashing. Just like to get your thoughts on the fact that President Trump has said that he's not going to be coming to the United Kingdom to open the US embassy.
Yes, well, I don't blame him. You know, you have a situation whereby Sadiq Khan, as the mayor of London, has really been tub-thumping, trying to get President Trump not to attend, said multiple times he's not welcome in the capital, really fomenting a situation where you might have some riots or street protests if the president came to open that embassy. By the way, I think the president's wrong when he says that the embassy in South London is a bad deal. I think firstly, it wasn't Obama who approved that embassy. It was George W. Bush who approved that embassy. Secondly, it didn't cost the American taxpayer anything because they actually sold off a bunch of buildings to pay for it. So I think he is wrong on that. I think he should have come out and told the honest truth, which is that he doesn't particularly want to visit Sadiq Khan's London, which is the acid attack capital of the world per capita, where you have in the last year soaring knife crime, soaring burglary, soaring rape, soaring youth homicide. And Sadiq Khan seems to be concerning himself more with matters of state, which he isn't elected to do, than actually solving the situation of crime in London. And it is soaring. And I have to say this, and you'll excuse me for being churlish about it, but places like Sky News and the BBC and all the best and brightest journalists in the country are not covering this.
What do you mean?
Well,
every single day we are covering stories about whether it's knife crimes or attacks, where they happen up and down the country. What proof do you have?
So Gamal,
what's
well, the proof is, can you answer me? What's the at what rate did knife crime go up by in London last year?
I'm asking you. I'm interviewing you. What proof
I know.
do you have?
Well, I know. It's not great with the shoes on the other foot. Do you know how much youth homicide went up by in London last year? Have you told your viewers that? 70%. Have you looked at the mayoral's police and crime report from December the 12th? You look at that, almost every single measure out of 42, only 4 of them in 4 categories did crime go down. In every single other area, double-digit rises in crime across London. So you know what? To borrow a phrase from Donald Trump, London's turning into a shithole under Sadiq Khan.
Okay, I think we'll leave it there. Raheem, I'm sure you were also for Breitbart. Thanks for joining us.
So our channel is primarily a very family-friendly channel. We try not to have curse words. We certainly don't use them. However, Raheem Kassem,
slap his face,
true to his own form, who I love, just said it like it is. And that's and you know what, though? It's funny, but it's really sad because that's what London has turned into, and it wasn't always that way.
No.
And so it's a
and
crime
why
shame.
is it that way? It's that way because of migrant and the influx of illegal migrants.
Yeah.
Okay. Give me a second why
Jonah Shue says the common people of UK deserve Trump. The MSM, academia, and government don't. Don't tar us all with the same brush. And that's what's such a shame. There are so many people in the UK, and if I could say this to Donald Trump, I would. There are so many people that want you in the UK to come and visit. Our viewers, primarily. I've noticed in the chat that we have some new people with us, and I want to thank you guys for being here. You may not be aware that we have a massive UK viewership here on Resistance Chicks, and so our heart really goes out. So that's why we cover a lot of UK news, because we have so many UK viewers, and we hear time and time again that they want Donald Trump to come. If Donald Trump, when Donald Trump does finally visit the UK, if he does a rally, and I hope that he does, it will be every bit as big, if not bigger, than the rallies that he holds here, because there are so many people in the UK that support Donald Trump.
But maybe don't have it in London.
Maybe don't have it in London. If I was Donald Trump, I would be too afraid to go to London. I mean, they are really good at the bombings.
Yeah, seriously. So, talking about Haiti, I think that, I don't know if Donald Trump plans these things or if he falls into them.
I think he's 20 steps ahead.
But because of this is actually, he said this, and it's the 8-year anniversary of this horrible act of nature.
Remember, there's beautiful cities in Britain. So many beautiful cities. Why bother with a filthy place like
London? There are what Patriot Gallery is saying. That's our mom. There are so many beautiful cities in all of the UK, especially Yorkshire and various places that you guys have sent, Northampton and stuff like that. There are beautiful places there that he could go and visit. He doesn't have to go to London.
Right. And when we're talking about Haiti, you can't talk about Haiti without talking about the Clintons. And Michelle and I worked out the math, not because we're awesome, but the amount of money that the Clintons raised, forgive me if I get this wrong, but it's really close to, they could have literally given every single person on the island $65,000. Okay? I need to rework my numbers, but that's the number that comes to my head. That's the number that I know that we were working with before. And they haven't seen any of it. Bill Clinton got on his little telethon with all, like, the, Tupac and, whoever, all these celebrities. And is he dead? He's dead, isn't he?
Tupac.
Is he dead?
Yeah, Leah.
Yeah, sorry. I meant the other guy. I don't follow rap. Sorry. You never know what you're going to get here.
Oh, my gosh. That's really
thinking about the other guy.
Oh,
there's so many other guys. Anyways, he's on... Go Google the Clinton telethon for Haiti, okay? They're all there. Anyways, all these celebrities are giving money to Haiti. This guy's going to tell you. And they raised all this money. And in the WikiLeaks, it shows that Chelsea actually used some of that money for her wedding. Because that's what you could do when you have a tax-free... So anyways, here. We're going to play this video.
Okay.
Before I step in money more.
They pretend to be our friends when in reality they are our number one enemy.
Clinton's a number one enemy.
There are some other people who clearly behave
Did you mean
like
Snoop
they don't
Dogg?
like us.
Yeah.
Thank you,
So
Kelly.
it's easy for us to
one.
protect ourselves against them because we know they are our enemies. But the Clintons are even more dangerous because they pretend to be our friends when in reality they're destroying Haiti.
Because I heard that the Clinton Foundation and all these other organizations gave over $6 billion to Haiti for the relief effort, especially during the kind of natural disasters that you guys have gone through. Is that true?
No, it's more than true. The money is much more than $6 billion. You see, after the earthquake, countries around the world donate billions of dollars. The amount was much larger than $6 billion. And Bill Clinton was in charge of the money. And not only people around the world, but also American celebrities donate a lot of larger money to rebuild Haiti. And hundreds of homes were destroyed after the earthquake. And if you can believe, the people are still living under tents. That's unacceptable. And not only they held the money, they kept the money, but Haiti had enough resources for them to be very comfortable. Haiti have oil, more oil than Venezuela. Nobody's talking about. Haiti have gold. We have one of the largest gold mine in the Caribbean. So, and they let the world, nobody's saying anything about our goals. Yeah. And who do you think is in charge of our gold right now? The contract. Yeah. Tony Rodham, Hillary Clinton's brother. Wow. He's got a 26 years contract. And then also Haiti used to produce, we used to produce our own rice. We didn't have.
Imagine if the brother of Donald Trump had a contract for gold in Haiti.
To buy rice overseas. Bill Clinton destroyed our rice so his brother can sell the rice from Arkansas. Yeah, wow. So they're doing a lot of things. Right now, if there's a millionaire or a billionaire who wants to do business in Haiti, they cannot do anything unless they check with the Clintons. The Clintons are the one who's running Haiti. And we are living in the 21st century. We are the first black people who liberate ourselves from the French rule. We fought 3 empires, the British, the Spanish, the French. So it's unacceptable for us to be occupied right now.
As we saw the investigations into where a lot of the relief funds for Haiti came into, and it ultimately went nowhere to the people but big multinational corporations, and a lot of the people who are still dealing with that natural disaster never got any relief because all the money that was funneled into them, even through the Red Cross, even through the Clinton Global Initiative, which the Clinton Global Initiative sometimes uses and brags like, look, we helped out Haiti, we did this for Haiti. What did they do for Haiti, and what's the current situation there?
What have the Clinton, not only Haiti, what have the Clinton done with their foundation? They don't help anyone. They're just enriching themselves.
True.
Going, stealing people's money, resources. That's what they do. We're asking friends, the American friends, to stand up with us. This is unacceptable. We cannot allow this to happen. We are living in the 21st century. We cannot allow a liar, a crooked, a thief to be president. We cannot allow that to happen. If that happened, I will have no respect for America or United States anymore. Because I used to believe America was the greatest country in the world, but there is no more justice anymore. Because the American justice is crooked. Look how they're supporting Hillary Clinton.
So I'm going to guess that video is from before the election, but still it's very, very valid.
Anomaly put that up, by the way.
For right now. Because
Absolutely.
It's been brought to the forefront because of what Donald Trump said. Unfortunately, Haiti is not a place that any of us would want to go. And that's what Raheem Kassim was saying. You wouldn't vacation there. You wouldn't want to go and visit there. So Donald Trump's language, while extremely colorful and maybe not what you and I would have said, probably what a lot of people would have said.
It's a horrible place right now.
It's not. It is what he described it as, and it shouldn't be. And the reason why the mainstream media has taken this as so offensive is it is a direct mirror on the Clintons. It is a blank hole because of the Clintons, and that's why they are upset. They're not upset that Donald Trump used the S word. They're not upset that he was talking bad about Haiti or whatever. Donald Trump, when he said that, was not talking bad about Haiti. He was talking about the fact that the Clintons had the opportunity to make Haiti great again, and they didn't. They stole the money. They stole it. And that's why it is what it is, and that's why the mainstream media is like losing their minds over him saying this.
So Chelsea Clinton, there's an article here. Chelsea
she paid
Clinton
for her wedding with this
tweeted
money.
out, Donald Trump, Mr. President, immigrants from El Salvador and Haiti and the 54 countries in Africa likely helped build your buildings. They certainly helped build our country. And then here she is using, the money from.
For her
the
wedding.
woman who embezzled millions of dollars in Haiti earthquake relief funds to pay for her own wedding. If you follow the WikiLeaks, even Chelsea says, "Hey, Dad, Mom, what are we doing to help Haiti?
Yeah,
we got all this money for them. What are we doing? They did nothing. They pretended to build a garment factory that didn't go anywhere.
With that kind of money,
some guy. I mean, watch the Clinton Cash segment on Haiti." It is out of this world. They had an Irish businessman, Digicel, to have a cell phone company down there and just totally rip people off.
Every Haitian
insane
could have started their own business with the amount of money that was given to the Clinton Foundation to help Haiti out. Otto says that Carnival Cruise Lines does not send cruise ships to Haiti nor to Africa. I wonder why.
So when we're talking about censorship, all this kind of really flows together in some really ebb and flow thing where you've got all the lefties on one side, the craziness, not the ACLU, happy liberal people, happy hippie people. I want to make that clear. But you've got these, because this guy here is one of those liberal hippie guys. He's a Harvard professor.
Is that his real name?
Steven Pinker. He let me just read you what I wrote here on Poor Harvard professor got a big taste of SJW madness as he rightly tried to explain that limiting the open discussion of facts actually fuels the alt-right. When someone comes across a truth or a red pill and no one around them helps them put it into context, those same people can get caught up in all kinds of craziness.
Cray.
I see it all the time on our page. For example, one reads that the Rothschilds were Jewish and so were the Frankfurt School commies, and suddenly all Jews are the devil. Another fact is that black men commit crime at a 7 to 8% more than those who people consider white or European descent. And so one might wrongly assume...
You mean just 7 to 8 times more likely.
Yeah, that's what I meant to say. And so one might wrongly assume black people are more predisposed to crime. If you shun and you don't engage facts, people may go to the group who supports the facts but puts them out of context.
Right.
Yes, black inner cities in America are crime-ridden, but why? And how do we fix it? We need the love of God and the salvation of Jesus Christ to give us answers to the red pill question. So what we have on Twitter and what we have even on Gab and in our own comment sections, are people who've been red pilled on a certain topic.
Right.
And then you're not allowed to engage in these topics. You don't see them on the news. You don't engage in them in your everyday conversation.
Right.
And so then you have a polarization that happens where I have seen with the influx of migrants, African migrants into Europe, you have a polarization of people who are identifying as white identity or that you hear people, I hear it all the time in black communities. Oh, look, one of our black community people is on, they're on television, or our black community person is represented here.
Right.
But then, so now what you're having is people on the white community saying, look, we want to promote people from the white community. I don't know the numbers, but the population breaks down that people who are considered a European descent or white are a very small portion of the population in the world. And so you would think that, hey, look, we're represented, in something. But it crosses this, and we cross the line and we joke about it and we tell people in Europe to go make babies. Why?
Make babies.
Because we don't believe in birth control. We don't believe in abortion. We want everyone, regardless of race, to actually have children, but it is a way to try to convince you and to manipulate you into having children.
Yes.
So we are open and honest about this manipulation and this brainwashing that we do here at Resistance.
When the first Resistance Chicks couple, married, actually concedes.
We did. We're
going to have a big party.
We had some.
I don't remember anybody
that
really
one
telling
young couple.
me.
Yeah. There was a European couple. I remember.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, but there was one.
All right, let's do it again. Somebody.
But seriously, I love to think of German culture. I love to think.
Hang on, wait. A Swede Speaks says, "I'm marrying an American woman, and we intend to make babies after the wedding night." Thank you, A Swede Speaks.
Good for you.
Good for you.
That's awesome. There you go. If people go to Sweden, they want to experience Swedish culture. If they go to Norway, they want to experience Norwegian culture. If they go to Italy, they want spaghetti and pasta. And if they go to France, they want really great bread.
And America has that too. We just have it regionally. You just said, the Swede Speaks, this will happen in the Midwest. There's a Midwestern culture. There's an Eastern culture. There's a Western culture. There is the California culture. There's the Southern culture. Several different Southern cultures. You've got Texas. You've got Georgia. You've got Alabama. And they're all unique in their own right.
If they change organically, it's fine.
Right.
But when you have an influx of people like you have in Europe, and you're changing it forcefully, when you force it,
right,
you've got violence and things like that. And that's why in Italy right now, you do have a rise of, I watched somebody say, I'm a Nazi. You see all the violence, you see the people coming in from Africa, and if you don't talk about it, and you don't engage in it on an intellectual level, then people will become alt-right. And that's how you explain it to people. And
that's why they want to censor the actual rational conservative libertarian voice. They have to censor it, because if you can grab that person that's been red pilled and give them logic and reason, then they will become a sounding board for that same logic and reason. And so that's why they want to censor us, because they don't want that information getting out to the people.
So I've thought about reading this, but I want you to hear it from Professor Pinker.
The other way in which I do agree with my fellow panelists that political correctness has done
This is at Harvard, so
an
I'm
enormous
actually really
amount of
impressed
harm
that he's...
in the sliver of the population that might be, wouldn't want to say persuadable, but certainly whose affiliation might be up for grabs, comes from the often highly literate, highly intelligent people who gravitate to the alt-right, internet savvy, media savvy, who often are radicalized in that way, who swallow the red pill, as the saying goes, the illusion from the Matrix, when they are exposed to the first time to true statements that have never been voiced in college campuses or in the New York Times or in respectable media, that are almost like a bacillus to which they have no immunity, and they're immediately infected with both a feeling of outrage that these truths are unsayable, and no defense against taking them to what we might consider to be rather repellent conclusions. Let me give you some examples. So here is a fact that...
If you can't engage with facts, people who do engage in facts, it's an underground marketplace.
Right.
Okay, and you get some dirty conclusions.
It's going to sound ragingly controversial, but is not, and that is that capitalist societies are better than communist ones. Okay, so if you doubt it, then just ask yourself the question: would I rather live in South Korea or North Korea? Would I rather live in West Germany in the 1970s or East Germany or in the 1960s? So this is not, I submit that this is actually not a controversial statement, but in university campuses, it is would be considered flamingly radical. Number two, here's another one. Men and women are not identical in their life priorities, in their sexuality, in their tastes and interests. Again, this is not controversial to anyone who is even glanced at the data. The kind of vocational interest tests of the kind that your high school guidance counselor gave you have been given to millions of people, and men and women give different answers as to what they want to do for a living and how much time they want to allocate to family versus career and so on. But you can't say it. I mean, a very famous person on this campus did say it, and we all know what happened to him. And he's no longer, well, he is on this campus, but no longer in the same office. Here's a third fact that is just not controversial, although it sounds controversial, and that is that different ethnic groups commit violent crimes at different rates. You can go to the Bureau of Justice Statistics, look it up on their website. The homicide rate among African Americans is about 7 or 8 times higher than it is among European Americans. And terrorism, go to the Global Terrorist Database, and you find that worldwide, the overwhelming majority of suicide terrorist acts are committed by Islamist extremist groups. Now, if you've never heard these facts before, and you stumble across them, or someone mentions them, it is possible to come to some extreme conclusions, such as that women are inferior, that African Americans are naturally violent, that we all ought to be anarcho-capitalists and do away with all regulation and social safety nets.
The reason we have a hard time engaging with people on the left is that they won't let us talk about the facts.
Right.
They won't let us engage in the facts because you have to have a baseline, and then we can differ. Like, if we all, any normal person, you don't want to see poor people living in tenement housing or in tents.
Right.
We can disagree on how to get those people out of poverty, or, get black young men to stop committing that much crime. We can disagree, but we have to be able to agree on the final solution, whereas people aren't committing crime, and the facts.
You have to be able to agree on the fact that they are committing the crime, and these are the people committing the crime.
Right, exactly.
That's where you have to start, number one.
Right.
You can't just blanket code it because you're never going to be able to come up with a unique solution for a situation without looking at the uniqueness of it. That's the most absurd creative thinking I've heard in my entire life. Well, we just can't address the fact that the black men are committing 7 to 8 more times the crime. We can't look at that because that's racist. Well, if you do that, then you're not looking at, you can't put specifics to a solution.
Right.
I've never seen anybody come together with creative thinking and not look at every single detail in the situation. So to me, that says they really aren't looking for a solution to the problem.
Right. And you have to start with people, and this is where God and Jesus have to come in. You have to start with people who are not judgmental.
Maybe it's the fault of the Democratic Party they always vote for.
Maybe it's the fault of the Democratic Party that they always vote for. But the only reason they vote for this Democratic Party is because they keep giving handouts. You're going to vote for the free.
Well, it's like the city
freebies.
of Baltimore. Their schools are failing. They have no heat, and they're run by Democrats. Okay, so maybe doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. All the major, horrible, awful, crime-ridden cities are run by Democrats. You had Mayor Rudy Giuliani, a Republican, come into New York and cleaned it up. Okay, I'm not saying that Republicans are that great, okay? But I'm just saying that Democrats are horrible.
Because socialism flat out does not work. And the socialist mindset that gets trickled down through public school systems.
Right.
When you have unfortunately, and we view capitalism a little bit differently on a smaller scale, not corporative or
corporation crony capitalism is horrible.
But the public school system model works better in conservative areas because it's not as socialistic. When you have socialism, you have, unfortunately, like with the in the UK, you have the NHS, where our dear Tracy, they're in wards. And I'm not saying that every hospital in the United States is fantastic, but at least in our area, the hospitals where people can go and get free health care are really nice. And it seems to me, I mean, when I was a kid, this goes back, 20 years, when I broke my ankle, I didn't have to share a room with anybody. I was able to get my own room. We have come so far, and for me to find out that Tracy was in a ward with 6 other people, I'm just like, this is so strange. This is like backwards. You guys give half of your money to the government. You ought to have the best health care that money can buy. But it's the complete opposite. So when we look at the public school education systems in the United States, in these more liberal areas, for some reason, it's actually the complete opposite. It's not working. Let's go, Pinky.
That most terrorism in this country is the fault of Muslims. Now, these are unwarranted conclusions because for each one of these facts, there are very powerful counter-arguments for why they don't license racism and sexism and anarcho-capitalism and so on. The fact that men and women aren't identical has no implications for whether we should discriminate against women for a number of reasons. One of them is for any traits in which the sexes differ, the two distributions have enormous amounts of overlap so that you can't draw a reliable conclusion about any individual from group averages. Number two, the principle of opposition to racism and sexism is not a factual claim that the sexes and races are indistinguishable in every aspect. It's a political and moral commitment to treat people as individuals as opposed to prejudging them by the statistics of their group. Third, we know that some of the statistical generalizations about races and sexes change over time. So what is true now may not necessarily be true in 10 or 20 years. So these are all reasons why you can believe that the sexes are different and be a very strong feminist. Why you can believe that differences between the races exist and be very strongly opposed to any form of racism. In the case of, say, rates of violent crime, it used to be, go back 100 years, the rate of violent crime among Irish Americans was far higher than among other ethnic groups. That obviously changed. There's no reason that that can't change in the case of current racial differences. In the case of terrorism, the majority of domestic terrorism is committed by right-wing extremist groups, not by Islamic groups within this country. And of course, through much of its history, Islam was far more enlightened than Christendom. There was no equivalent of the Inquisition. There was no equivalent of the wars of religion in the classical history of Islam.
I'm gonna disagree,
And finally,
but
in the
we
case
can
of
agree to
the fact that
disagree for a second.
capitalism is really a better system than Marxism, every successful capitalist society has regulation, has a social safety net. And in fact, some of the countries with the strongest social safety nets are also the countries that are most friendly, that are most market friendly, that have the greatest degree of economic freedom. So these are all reasons why you can believe all of these and not necessarily drift toward extremist positions. In fact, why you can be a progressive, a centrist, a liberal, even a leftist, and believe all of these, because you're exposed not only to the facts, but how to put them in context. Now, let's say that you have never even heard anyone mention these facts. The first time you hear them, you're apt to say, number one, the truth has been withheld from me by universities, by mainstream media.
Lagging here.
I hope you guys are finding this guy as fascinating as I am, because it's really nice it's refreshing to have this come from somebody on the left, where they're giving these facts. It's like, for the first time, finally, somebody with half a brain can see this, other than the conservatives or, right-leaning people that have been saying this forever and just being labeled racist, Nazi, whatever.
We're being censored.
We are being censored. You know what? I think they get the idea, and I can put the link to this in the description so you guys can finish it and share it.
Okay.
But yeah, that was absolutely, it's so encouraging. I want you guys to be hopeful, and that's one thing that my mom's always asking us to put on the show, to have hope that the tide is shifting. There are people that have brains on the left. Surprise, I'm just kidding. And presented with the facts,
right,
they can make positive or correct conclusions. They can reach these conclusions. Right. Unfortunately, like he just said, these facts are being withheld. Mm-hmm. And that's why we see such a dumbing down with the leftists. Even the social justice warriors, they do try to think.
Right.
They give it a shot. They do try to be passionate about something. But unfortunately, when you don't have all the facts, you can't make right decisions, obviously. So what do we have next?
In other news, this is Donald Trump's tweet from today. He says, today it was my great honor to proclaim January 15th, 2018 as Martin Luther King Jr. federal holiday. Huh. I encourage all Americans to observe this day with appropriate civic ceremony, community, and service activities in honor of Dr. King's life and legacy.
Hang on, though.
If we celebrate his birthday, this is his day. Like, federal holiday.
Why couldn't they just make the federal holiday his birthday?
For the memory of a great American hero, the Reverend
he wanted to look awesome.
Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. On January 15th, 1929.
I mean, we already get off school for that. Like, off work and like.
Martin Luther King Jr. was born in Atlanta, Georgia. He would go on to change the course of human history. As a young man, Dr. King decided to follow the calling of his father and grandfather to become a Christian pastor. He would later write that it was quite easy for me to think of a God of love, mainly because I grew up in a family where love was central. That is what Reverend King preached all of his life: love. Love for each other, for neighbors, and for our fellow Americans. I will now sign the proclamation making January 15th, 2018 the Martin Luther King Jr. federal holiday, and encourage all Americans to observe this day with acts of civic work and community service in honor of Dr. King's extraordinary life, and it was extraordinary indeed.
Be like, no, I'm not going to do it.
And his great legacy. Thank you. God bless you all, and God bless America.
Folks are our folks.
Hang on, wait. I've got good news. I've got good news.
What's
his birthday?
Yeah.
Is January 15th. Okay, so he's not getting 2 holidays. The mail already doesn't run. So I thought that it already was a federal holiday.
So did I.
So I guess it's not. So okay. then I have no problem with this. I think this is fantastic. If it's already the day. It's the day we don't get mail. That's all I know. It's the day that we're already seriously celebrating his birthday. People should not. Why do we even have a home phone?
Why do we even have a mom? Patriot Gallery got it on the first ring. Thank you, Patriot Gallery, for that. Okay, so another funny, interesting, bad, weird news. Dianne Feinstein.
Ooh.
She leaked the testimony that Fusion GPS gave. And it's probably illegal what she did. And first she said she was pressured into doing it. And then she said she did it because she had a bad cold. So she must have had brain pressure. Dianne Feinstein, the Senate's oldest currently sitting senator, she's like 510, blamed a bad cold that might have impaired her mental faculties.
Either that or she's been hanging around Nancy and Maxine.
So Comey will probably, under Comey, she would be let go, because if you don't mean to do something illegal, as long as you don't mean to do it, it's okay.
Sure.
Leading her to releasing Fusion GPS co-founder Glenn Simpson's testimony without giving Senate Judiciary Chairman Chuck Grassley advance notice. Feinstein told NBC News, "The one regret I have is that I should have spoken with Senator Grassley before, and I don't make an excuse, but I've had a bad cold, and maybe that slowed down my mental faculties a little bit." On Thursday, she told reporters that she denied claims that she was pressured to release the Simpson transcript. "I made no statement to that effect," she said. Reporters then rebuked her, suggesting that reporters have recordings of her arguing that she was pressured. The California senator replied, "I don't believe there are. I don't believe I said that. It appears in one place, and I saw it, and I'm just telling you. You asked me the question, and the question is, it's not correct," Feinstein says. Emma Loop says, "Just asked Feinstein about her comment yesterday about being pressured to release Simpson transcript. I made no statement to that effect," she says, "but there are recordings of you saying that you felt pressured." And she says no. So she's obviously still under the cold effect and should be removed immediately from office. She is 84 years old. Plans to run for a 5th full term.
No.
And that would last until she is 91 years old.
I'm not trying to discriminate against older people, but that's pretty old.
And Donald Trump said the fact that sneaky Dianne Feinstein, who has on numerous occasions stated that collusion between Trump and Russia has not been found, would release testimony in such an underhanded and possibly illegal way, totally without authorization, is a disgrace and must have tough primary.
Wow. Okay. So, in the chat, I'm discovering that Peachy Chick, who is a very loyal viewer, has a birthday that she shares with MLK. So, happy early birthday to you. I'm not sure if we will be going live on your birthday.
Too, and
on the 15th.
On the 15th. Okay.
On the 15th. And also, Otto says that his brother's birthday. If you guys are not listening to Primer Time, I'm going to see if I can get that link and drop it in the description. Otto is one of our awesome viewers that we have as well, and he and his brother have a radio program that covers arms, but also politics and news and stuff like that. It's not on YouTube, but I'm going to get the link so you guys can listen to that podcast.
Right. So definitely, Otto and his brother do a really cool
tell
stuff.
your brother
It's really
happy
fun.
early birthday for us.
All right, we're going to kind of wrap up this show of craziness with this. 2 things I'm going to share with you. There is a Patriot Gallery coming out. Oh, just saying. Okay. So there's a new movie. No, she's coming out.
Yeah, I do have something to say.
She has something
Patriot
to say.
Gallery.
Is it when it comes to congressmen and senators, somebody said you should have an age limit retirement? Actually, it's the opposite. Once you've started a business, or you've lived your life, or you've had like 5 children and you're a grandfather, and you're done. But you've gained all this wisdom.
Absolutely. Yes.
And the Bible says a youth or a younger person shouldn't be a leader.
Right.
But a person who has proven themselves through a good life,
Agreed.
an honest life, they
Yes.
shouldn't have all these skeletons in their closets. Then when they're older, they're retiring. Well, that's when they become a statesman. They can lead a country because they've been a good leader as a husband.
I agree. I could not agree anymore, but I do think that at some point with some people, especially Crazy Maxine, Nancy, and Dianne Feinstein, their mental faculties start to decline. And so
proves herself to be good.
And she has not proven herself to be good. I want to say a shout out to the American Brand who is here. You guys can go and subscribe to their channel as well. He does an excellent job of breaking down the news. So I saw that in the chat. So welcome.
So I don't actually, I've never actually given money to a crowdfunding thing. I've supported a lot of crowdfunding things with like sharing them and things like that. But I'm actually going to give to this. We're
giving.
We are giving to this crowdfunding.
We give to people, individuals, quite frequently.
I've never done an internet
I don't like to
crowdfunding.
give to big things.
This is seriously. What's running?
I don't look for the speaker.
Okay. All right. So this is Roe v. Wade, the movie, and many of you don't know, and I didn't know until research, the history of even the Roe v. Wade, how it came about. They picked a young girl who was pregnant. They went and looked for a young pregnant girl and used her specifically to try to overturn the abortion laws. And that woman actually came out as pro-life since then.
Sure.
And the real story behind Roe v. Wade, the real story behind Planned Parenthood, hasn't been told on the big screen. There is a really cool documentary called Birth Control, the movie. It doesn't just talk about birth control.
Birth Control, the movie. It is so great.
It's actually really fun to watch. It's actually really
good.
Enjoyable, like entertaining to watch. It goes through the whole history. It is really cool, and I really like it.
You guys need to watch that. It's really
killing
great.
people is bad, just in general. And Margaret Sanger, it's so funny because they called Trump a Nazi and a racist, but Margaret Sanger literally stood up in front of a KKK meeting saying we need to eliminate all black people. So I'm just wondering how that's working out for them.
Aren't people allowed to aren't places like that allowed to evolve and change?
Yeah. So this for just $25, if you guys want to support it, you can get a free streaming of it later. So you're not just like out. You're gonna eventually watch it. I want to play for you the intro here, but
It's a trailer, right?
Yeah. Well, it's not a trailer because they haven't really started it yet. It's just like a pre-starting thing, you know, it's about. But Dr. Aveda King, she's awesome. I see her all the time. She is Dr. Martin Luther King's niece. She is just amazing. They're going to be using John Voight to play a Supreme Court justice. What is playing?
I don't know.
Let's see. But the reason I'm bringing it to you guys now really is because Facebook has blocked the movie's crowdfunding. I don't want to meet Alcon Dailies.
It's got to be what you have up because I don't see a speaker on any of these.
I don't either. So
let's just play it.
Yeah, I just wanted to let you know that it's been blocked. On Facebook, and Facebook and Twitter are constantly blocking anything pro-life, and that's why we have to get the message out even more.
Hello, I'm Alveda King, an executive producer of the new feature film Roe v. Wade, which chronicles the infamous abortion-enabling court case that impacted American history. This big screen movie is the real untold story of how mountains of lies led to an injustice that has deprived millions of people of human dignity and human rights. It all begins with a woman named Margaret Sanger. In the movie, Dr. Bernard Nathanson, the most famous abortionist of those times, joins Sanger's cause. Next, they recruit feminist Betty Friedan to join their team. Bernard and Betty search the country to find a pregnant girl they can use to sue the government. Our characters find the perfect pawn, Norma McCorvey. Norma becomes infamously known as Jane Roe. Thus, Roe v. Wade was born. The pro-life fight is led by the film's protagonist, Mildred Jefferson, the first African-American woman to graduate from Harvard Medical School. Not only was she trying to save lives, she was trying to save her ethnic community.
Good evening. In a landmark ruling, the Supreme Court today legalized abortion.
At the end of the movie, through the lens of new sonogram technology, Bernard realizes he is killing babies. He confesses all the lies.
Thousands of women were dying in Black Valley.
Even Norma realizes she was manipulated and becoming a leading activist to protect life. We've already secured distribution on 1,000 screens, so even if just one person changes as a result of this movie, we will have saved a life. Hollywood and the mainstream media continue to squash the truth. In Hollywood, life is only sacred when money is involved.
Margaret Sanger's Planned Parenthood makes over $1 billion a year.
And they sell baby parts.
Yeah, this is some of
She
the
told me,
footage
she's
from
like,
the...
it's not an option. Like, it's demand. That's what your job is. There are times where they would just take what they want. And these mothers don't know. And there's no way they would know.
Please support us in making this theatrical movie about Roe v. Wade. Help us fund this film, and we will produce a movie worthy of competing with the rest of the Hollywood blockbusters released in theaters across America. Give now and give generously. Every dollar counts. Let's prove that Hollywood doesn't have the final say about the sanctity of life. We, the people, do, as America's audience and America's conscience, choose life today. Give now and bring Roe v. Wade to life.
So I wanted to bring that to you guys because here's the thing. Like, all of the independent movies are all like Christian-y. They're all pro-life. They're all these. They're trying, and people go and see them. Like, God's Not Dead. I gotta tell you, some of them aren't made that well, right? You had Facing the Giants, which was such a great story, even though it was like this small budget.
It was film
by a small church, and you've got Fireproof and a bunch
Genesis
of other ones.
3D was
top
of the line.
Yeah, that was top
I mean,
of the
it
line.
was, the technology there was, it was equal to Avatar.
So if Hollywood actually wanted to make money, if they wanted to bring people into the theater, they've tried actually to bring in like Ben-Hur or things like that, but because they're not actually trying to, they're trying to make it cool.
They're trying to use a Christian story and they alter it like they did with Noah.
Right.
And they just kind of throw it at people expecting that we'll bite. There's a demographic. And Christians, it's not just a story.
Right.
We can feel the power of God
and that's
on
the difference.
something.
Secular people and atheists don't feel it. We feel it.
So they think they've made a movie. They're like, we made this movie. Why don't you like it? I'm like, because it's not the real thing. It's microwave gunk.
The reason they play the Ten Commandments every year at Easter is because everyone feels it. Well, most everyone feels that power that Charlton Heston was trying to seek God and trying to bring forth, this message.
The Passion of the Christ with Jim Caviezel, which, by the way, Jim Caviezel's getting ready to play Paul. I'm so excited about this. I want to scream. I'm really looking forward to seeing that new movie come out.
So something that goes along with this, Germany is not doing well. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
This was shared from November, but it just came into my feed. German Catholics are protesting a program endorsed personally by the Archbishop of Berlin that gives practical tips to Catholic sex educators on how to teach children about their sexual rights, advising them that adult sex with a minor is permitted as long as it's consensual, and outlining the process of obtaining an abortion.
Wow.
The Archbishop of Berlin. The program also seeks to eliminate taboos and prejudices and stereotypes regarding various forms of sexual deviation, including homosexual behavior and other crazy things I'm not going to read out loud. That totally go against the church's doctrine, and it's just absolutely insane.
This reminds me of Horatio's post the other day, where he called out Pink. She's going to be the singer at the Super Bowl, and Leah, you commented on there, and you said, I thought you were going to call out the fact that you don't like the color pink. And he said, it's baby pink. Her pink is baby pink. He's like, I don't do baby pink. I don't do baby blue. If you're going to be a color, commit to it. Just do it. Just be the color. Be pink. If you're going to be Catholic, just be Catholic.
Right.
If you're going to be a Christian, just be Christian. Don't half do it. This is like, to me, the baby pink. It's worse than that. You're trying to turn it to a nude color at this point. You're not even pink anymore. They're not even trying to be a Christian at this point. They're not even trying to be Catholic at this point. They're just trying to be like the rest of the world.
So instead of, like, if you're going to do church and you're going to have Catholics give answers, these are not the answers that Catholics should be given. These, I could get this on the street corner. Practical tips for use of methods in sexual I don't even know what that word, pedagogical work with youth groups, so youth people, I guess. When is it normal to have sex? It gives a list of hypothetical situation regarding minors involved in these are people who are supposed to be training children, minors involved in out-of-wedlock sexual activity, and then provides answers to those situations regarding the minor's right to engage in that behavior. The Catholic doctrine of sexual morality in the doctrine is left unmentioned. Situation 2, in a hypothetical situation 2, a 22-year-old man has a 15-year-old girlfriend with whom he wishes to have sexual relations. The Archdiocese writes, in principle, persons of legal age may sleep with minors, provided it is consensual sexual intercourse. Now, this to me is a pedophile priest. Right?
Dang.
It gets difficult, however, whenever sexual acts or intercourse are forced. It just gets difficult. Not exactly out of the question, just difficult. In situation 6, a girl named Melina has an unwanted pregnancy. While the document discusses options for receiving state support for her as an unwed mother or for adopting, it adds, in the context of pregnancy conflict counseling, Melina can be advised to the possibility of abortion. In the consultation, the father of the expected child or even her parents can be present if she wishes. She even has to show that she took part in a consultation should she decide to terminate. In the consultation, the father of the expected child or even her parents can be present if she wishes. No matter how Melina decides, she can get advice and has the right to a psychological support. This is all from the Catholic. This is insane.
Now, once again, let's not lump all the Catholics together because we receive a lot of feedback
this is
from Catholics that are furious about these things.
Yeah.
They're furious about what the current Pope is doing and turning the Catholic Church into. Okay, so let's be clear about that.
There are even tips that even explain how minors can obtain contraceptions without their parents finding out. It implies that those under 14 years of age can obtain contraceptives to facilitate their sexual activity, despite the fact that it is actually illegal. In situation 5, readers are told Laura, 15, would like to sleep with her boyfriend and considers different contraceptives. However, she's afraid her parents will find out. The Archdiocese notes that Laura is under 16 years of age. Her doctor can inform her parents that she wants oral contraceptions. However, Laura can try to convince the doctor that she is mature enough to make that decision. This is the Archdiocese.
I don't even have words.
This shows you that, unfortunately, a large portion of the Catholic leadership are pedophiles.
Yeah.
They're everywhere. When we're uncovering in Ireland, pedophilia. When we're uncovering it in Australia, this not like, dude, the stuff that we uncovered in Australia on the record, the things that they did to children, I can't even describe to you. It would make you cry at night.
So Pagano herself says, I'm Catholic and this is awful, makes me sad. Chris Holman says, I am Catholic and this makes me angry. This is completely against the church's teachings. I want to take this time, if I can, to lay out the Resistance Chick stance on Catholicism. We support the Catholic Church. We absolutely support the Catholic Church. The problem that I find amongst Catholicism is that we believe in just the Bible. Right? Our teachings comes as Protestants, they come just literally from the Bible alone. The Catholics have a lot of revelations that have happened to saints, and so that's where they get a lot of the different teachings, the praying to saints and stuff like that. With that territory, which is kind of muddy waters of believing that things can come after the Word of God, you have this, where now the Archdiocese can come out, and who's to say that they didn't receive this word from the Lord? And so that's why Lee and I are not Catholic, because we believe in the Bible alone. But
should agree with what's in the Bible.
And so, but that being said, we highly respect and support the real Catholic Church and Catholics themselves. Our grandma was Catholic. We took her to Mass. Okay, we don't do the whole Jesuits thing. I believe that the current Pope is completely anti-Christ. The previous Pope, I believe, was kicked out because he had to go. They wanted to push this agenda and they had to get a globalist in there, and that's what they have done. So that's our official stance for those of you that wonder, because we have messages sent to us a lot, and so I kind of wanted to lay that out there, wondering where we come from on that.
I mean, seriously, we support God-fearing Mormons, the Bundys. Okay? If you fear God and you love God and you're trying to follow him, we support that. Doesn't mean that I'm going to sit down and say this is a doctrine. Doctrine is different than following God. Totally different. Okay.
Bingo.
All right. The Archdiocese notes that for under 14s, it would be difficult to get a prescription. Oh, yeah. The other situations include teenage girls in lesbian relationships and a boy who wants to be tested for venereal diseases without being detected by his parents. Both are within legal rights of minors, the Archdiocese states. German Catholics respond with a petition. Yeah, we say
Nine.
Nine.
Is
sorry.
Whoops.
Russian. Whoops.
Nine.
Das ist nie gut.
Das ist nicht
gut. Das ist nicht good. Nicht good.
Nicht.
Das ist nicht good. Mom, how do you say it?
Das ist nicht
Nert. Isn't it nert?
Nert. It's not net.
Das ist
net
nert
is
good.
Russian.
Das ist nert good.
Sehr is
Zert?
good. Is very good.
Ah!
Das ist sehr good.
Mom.
Something like that.
The group of German Catholics outraged by the Archbishop's apparent endorsement of pro-abortion materials has organized a petition to ask him to remove them from the Archdiocesan website entitled "The Archdiocese of Berlin Should Finally Stop Giving Teen Tips on Abortion." Incomprehensible!
Nicht gut. Thank you.
Nicht
the
good.
Swede says. Nicht.
The Archdiocese of Berlin gives 15-year-old pregnant women tips, girls, on how to kill their child. This exposes the Archbishop of Berlin, Heiner Koch, who, as a follower of the feminist pro-choice ideology, which gives the right to life of unborn children to the arbitrariness of their mothers, pro-choice is not an option but murder. The petitioners asked the Archbishop to take the unspeakable abortion tips immediately from the website of the Archdiocese of Berlin. The Church has the right to defend the right to life of the unborn and a moral obligation to act as a protective power of innocent children in public. However, the petitioners made no mention of the other things in the site. So, the Archbishop seeks conversation with adolescents about their values. No, this is not how this works.
The church teaches you what your daggum values are.
Your parents, children don't have a set of values. That's why you teach them. That's why the Bible says to train up a child
in the way they
should go. And when they're old, they won't depart.
I'm going to make the best parent ever. I'm going to show you what your values are. Sit down. You're going to learn your values. You don't get your own daggum values. I'm going to tell you what your values are. They're my values. I'm a parent. I mean, seriously, this is absolutely, oh, child, what would you like for lunch? What do you want to wear? What do you want to, how do you feel today? Do you want to play with your pony today? No! Get out there and scoop the pig manure. Okay, it's nicer than that. I'm totally kidding. I think parents should be kind and loving and treat children like they are human beings. But the reality is that kids need leadership, and then when they respond well to that, then you give them responsibilities, and one thing that our mom always taught us was to go to God for ourselves and seek what God's values are, not what our values are.
So if he's not a pedophile, which I think that they are, then they're just trying to be cool and relatable. But everybody knows that you don't want the cool parent. You need a good parent. You need a loving parent who will teach you boundaries, to teach you how to resist doing bad things.
Right.
So I'm going to leave it there. Just disappointed.
Do you have any other news at the end?
I don't have anything else.
Okay. All right. So
in Germany, they're tearing down your church. They have a video of it. It's really sad. I don't want to show it.
All right. So funny thing.
But they're building a mosque. Here's one of the new mosques.
What? Another one?
In Germany.
Oh.
This is the Turkish Islamic
Union. It looks like
Union
something from Star Trek.
For Religious Affairs opened
really
a new mosque for worship on Friday in the German city of Cologne. But they're tearing them down and building up mosques.
Resistance finishing school for young ladies enrolling soon, says Robert Bone. I like it. I like the sound of that.
It's nice to finishing school. Here goes the church.
That's
sad.
Heartbreaking. That's awful.
I know.
And then they're going to put a mosque up?
Well, the idea is that they're tearing down churches and building
up
mosques.
Yeah. I get it. Speaking of things that are closing, Sam's. For those of you that don't, I know you guys have big box stores. What would you call them in the UK? Like surplus stores where you buy you need to buy bulk. You're a business and you need to buy. We as consumers can go to these stores. Ours is called Sam's. We have also a Costco. They're shutting down Sam's. 64 of them.
61.
Something like that. All over the United States. 2 within driving distance of us that we could go to.
I'm going to tell you what my theory is.
FEMA camps.
Well,
my mom says, and I don't watch this stuff, other people are saying it's FEMA camps. I don't think that it is, but it could be.
Underneath of them.
Totally could be.
Totally could be. Totally could be. On the surface, it looks like they raised the minimum wage to $11 and gave everybody a one-time bonus. I think that Walmart's trying to look cool and be part of this whole wave of companies that keep giving bonuses under Trump's tax cut. And so it cost them a bunch of money, so they had to close up some stores.
For those of you that don't know, Sam's and Walmart are the same company.
But this is
wholesale
funny.
stores, Britbot says.
This is not Donald Trump. This is British contractors pose for selfies with the wax figure of Trump placed outside the new U.S. Embassy in London.
Oh my gosh, that's fantastic. You know, it looks way better than the animatronic one that they did at the Hall of Presidents.
But the wax figure is outside, so is it going to be... I mean, that's actually pretty cool looking. Is it weatherproof?
I wonder if he approved that one, because it looks... He's got better hair than Donald Trump, I think.
I mean, it really does look like him. I'm wondering why he couldn't smile.
Yeah.
But see, those guys want to meet with Donald Trump.
Stay Perfect says, that's so wrong. We need true churches nowadays. The beauty is, I believe that Christianity and godliness is rising up in the American people and people all over the world outside of the churches.
Well, while we're on this topic, this is another one.
Not Trudeau.
Trudeau says Canada, pro-life groups are not in line where we are as a society. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau spoke Wednesday about a new requirement in the Canadian Summer Jobs Grant application that groups must indicate support for the right to access safe and legal abortions to be included in the program. Why? That's so weird. Trudeau defended the requirement and called groups opposed to abortion not in line with where we are as a government and, quite frankly, where we are as a society. If you're pro-life, then you are ridiculed and insulted. But if you're pro-choice, then you are praised, a student told Trudeau at a town hall at McMaster University and was greeted with applause. Trudeau replied that defending rights and freedoms is at the core of who I am, and quite frankly, it is at the core of who Canada is. And at the same time, we need to know that there is a difference between freedom of expression and acting on those expressions and the beliefs. He went on to explain his issue with pro-life groups receiving the grant. An organization that has the explicit purpose of restricting women's rights by removing rights to abortion and the right of women to control their own bodies. You can control your own body. You just can't go kill somebody else's body.
That's true.
That's how abortion works.
That is.
Trudeau.
Yeah.
Is not in line with where we are as a government and, quite frankly, where we are as a society. He also clarified that while people can believe what they want, acting on those beliefs are problematic. Kind of like Islam.
About that.
Of course, you're more than allowed to have whatever beliefs you like, but when those beliefs lead to actions determined to restrict a woman's right to control her body, that's where I think we draw the line as a country, and that's where we stand on that. We, as Canadians. He called abortion an important right for Canada. Women have fought for generations for the right to control their own bodies. It's not your body we're talking about. Go do your thing. You just can't kill somebody else's body. This is how this works.
Here's where your control is. The moment you decide to do the dance, that's your control.
Yeah.
This is my body. I'm going to do the dance. That's my control. I make the decision that there might be a consequence to doing this dance. And that dance may produce a child, at which case you now have another third party coming into the situation there, in which case it's no longer just you, but you have created, it's like magic, right? I think people don't understand this. You have created another being. I mean, let that sink in. It's kind of like science fiction. I mean, now you have a third person to consider in this situation. Okay?
Before the abortion, they have to have a farm and watch the baby pig that's born.
True. Before you have an abortion, you have to live on a farm and watch baby pig that's be born.
Or something be born.
Or something be born. And then tell me that you can kill that life. Okay? It's absolutely ridiculous. Oh my gosh. So just if you don't want to pay the piper, as Terry Martin says, don't do the dance. That's where your decision making starts. Now, then there's the murky waters of bad things that happen to people in rape and such. And
then one crime doesn't cover up another crime.
Exactly. We're not allowed to revenge murder, right?
You know, here's the thing. When they talk about the life of the mother in its at stake, listen, yes, when you've got two people, then a doctor has to decide what to do. What's the best thing to do?
Right.
Right? But that's never the case with these people.
So I want to actually finish off with this. Nigel Farage yesterday had a rather groundbreaking earth-shattering tweet that says maybe, just maybe, we should have a second referendum in the EU membership. It would kill off the issue for a generation once and for all. Now, a lot of people came back and were like, no, why are you doing this, man? You're so crazy, it's so awful. Now, It was a call to arms. Nigel Farage told The Sun today his bombshell comments on a second EU referendum are a call to arms for Brexit backers. The former UKIP chief insisted he didn't want a second vote and wasn't seeking publicity, but he said Brexit supporters had to release a referendum rerun appearance, all but inevitable given collusion between Brussels and Remain campaigners here in the UK. He said Leave supporters had packed up their bags and gone home since the 2016 vote, while pro-EU groups such as Open Britain were campaigning in towns and cities every weekend. He told The Sun, "We have no establishment in a parliament that completely refuses to accept the results of the referendum, and we have to show that while we don't want a second referendum, if they push us to it, we are not afraid." He said he believes a second referendum would be triggered by Parliament voting down the Brexit deal offered by the EU. "I want people on the Brexit side to at least start to think that this could happen. Blair is calling for it already, and Labour is moving towards putting it into its manifesto." So,
a second referendum means they learned how to rig the machines.
very true, Patriot Gallery. A second referendum would mean that they have learned how to rig the machine. So, Nigel, maybe you might not want to be like, okay with that.
I understand what he's saying, though.
I understand what he's saying, too, but I think Patriot Gallery has a point. We have shown here in the United States that this voting fraud is not only a probability, a possibility, it is a happening. They're using it. It's implemented.
It's a happening.
It's a happening. Did you guys see that movie? All right, so I think that rounds us off. You were just bringing up a nice picture of Nigel.
Yeah, well, the EU boss says it's not going to happen, so.
It's not going to happen, but I like that Nigel did throw it out there for people to take serious, because I do believe that a lot of Brexiters have packed their bags and gone, oh, it's just going to go on through, it's going to be fine. But I say, the Bible says always be ready in season and out of season.
Right.
All right, Britt Baza says, Michelle, it's a double bluff to stop May in her tracks from backsliding. Hope that's true. Jack Russell says, no voting twice. I love our UK viewers that are here tonight. I didn't see Sean and Tracy. They're probably in bed. But Tracy, I think, is doing well. So thank you guys for your prayers for her. All right, we're going to sign off. Do we have a song? No. No singing. No singing.
What was the song they were singing in that wedding?
What wedding?
I know that song. The one where they were singing in the wedding.
Oh, I didn't actually press play. I just watched them singing it.
Oh, I was like, oh, that's a good Christian song.
I didn't. So what is here? May is such a hag. That's what he has to say about that. All right, you guys. We go live every Friday, like tonight, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and every Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which we will be back this Sunday. I think we're definitely going to Poland this Sunday. Marcin has sent me some stuff. He's covered stuff for us in the past. They have had in this case, I can use the word earth-shattering, devastating upheaval in their government. Our friend Ivan has sent us a message saying the communists have won. So we're going to try to bring that to you guys on Sunday.
They have a new Twitter handle. Make Poland great again.
They do, and that's good news. IPP TV is going to be broadcasting
at Poland Great
in dubbed English. So I'm really, really excited about that.
Is this the title they decided to come up?
They decided to go with Going Against the Tide. Go Against the Tide, I think.
Okay.
All right, Michelle, weather outside. Thank you, Cecilia and Gal. Let's go. Let me go check and see what it's doing. Oh, it's still doing it. So yeah, we can definitely we're going to take you. We're going on a run, We're going to this. Let us.
It's go. Like unplugging, like from the Matrix or something. You plug all these weird.
Nah.
So you need me to take the laptop?
I'm gonna do. Here's what we're gonna do. You guys are. Yeah, whoa. You're gonna do the laptop.
Okay.
And I'm gonna do the camera.
Cool if we had a second camera. All right.
Okay. Yeah. Well, if we had a second camera, it would be good. All right. So I'm hoping it'll be light enough.
I'm coming not fast. I'm not coming that fast.
He's not coming that fast.
Jasper wants to go out in it.
Jasper's gonna get to go out in it. Whoa! Holy.
Whoa!
Geez. Oh my gosh! Can they see it? Look at the computer. Turn it around.
Can you see it? I can't
turn
it around. Look.
Oh yeah. Well, I don't know if you can see. There's our van. You really can't see the way it's coming down. It's a lot windier than it looks on the camera.
It's windy out.
It's very whoa. Let me get out here. There you can kind of see it. It's definitely coming down pretty heavy. This actually has happened what, within the past 2 hours?
Yeah.
Within the past 2 hours, I'm going to guess we've got
It was
a couple of inches
degrees
here.
Yesterday.
60 degrees yesterday.
And I wore
here.
shorts and capri pants.
Here, I wonder if I can, nope, it's just too dark for me to even be on here. But yeah, so
Come on,
that's...
Jasper. Come on, Jasper. Come inside, Snow Dog.
It's pretty windy.
Come
All right,
on,
Jasper. Here comes Jasper. All right, so, yeah, now I got to shut the door. Jeez, oh my gosh. It's so windy. All right, now we can go back in.
Come on, kid. There's our porch.
It's okay. You guys like going with us.
Yeah, it's like going on a ride. It's like, do you feel like the 3D?
Yeah, they felt it. Okay. So that's the storm that is hitting the East Coast right now.
Well, we're Midwest right now.
Well, still close enough. That's the
we're Midwestern.
It's cold. Jasper, come in here, please.
Oh, wow, that sent a shiver.
But it's, I mean, I had to go and do a pet visit down the street, and first it started out as rain all day long, and it was, what, 40 degrees when we woke up this morning?
Warm,
60
yeah.
yesterday, and the temperature just kept dropping and dropping.
This is our geoengineering whiplash weather here.
I think it could be. I'm going to plug this mic in.
Of course it is.
To make us go insane. Like, seriously?
My mouse
we
is
went from
plugged in.
t-shirts to negative temperatures, and then you said it was going to get down to 5. The newspaper said -2, -1. What? Again, we're getting down to those once again.
When?
I don't know, but see, once you get used to the, like I told you guys, you get used to the cold and it's cool, but like, literally, and now we just went back to t-shirt at 60 degrees, and now we got to plunge down next to like negative temperatures, and it's like, whoa, Jack.
All right, so some of the comments. Donna says, how about not getting pregnant in the first place? Oops, I'm sorry, that's being responsible. I love Donna. She tells it like it is every time. They could see that it was windy. It's going to get worse.
Tonight, it's not going to last too much longer.
But I think it was supposed to go until like 2 a.m.
Yeah.
But if it keeps going like that until 2 a.m., we're not going anywhere. We have pet visits that we can walk to.
Yeah,
we're not. And somebody, Robert had said, I don't see the Jeep. That's because she's parked on the other side of the van. Kansas has his little red Nissan truck in the garage.
I was going to have you put a tarp on it.
On the Jeep, so we didn't have to clean it off. It's so nice. Usually the Jeep, which is our 4-wheel drive,
gets
one of them
in the garage.
Gets put in the garage so we don't have to clean it off.
It's not today, Junior.
Let's see. Hey, Miss Frizzles, let's go on a field trip. The Magic School Bus, LOL, says, say perfect. It does kind of look magical out there. Yes, Robin, I'm sorry. We are getting ready to sign off. She's just getting home from work. Let's see. By Sunday, the bad cold weather will be really bad. I don't know what's going to happen between now and then. It's
going to get colder. Yeah, it's not going to go anywhere for a while.
Yeah. Let's see. Kansas Truck and Garage. He got away lightly there. It says
he's working on it.
Well, normally his big giant truck, that doesn't even fit in the garage. But he's got this little red Nissan with a topper. It's his special.
He's working on the engine, so it's a trade-off.
I turned off my heaters for 2 days. Now I sit in sweaters and blankets, says Secretarian.
Yep.
Earlier, I think it was you that left a comment that said, when we were talking about the equal rights and stuff like that, that she once went for a job as a single mom with 4 kids and was turned down because the guy got the job, and the reason being was he had a family to support. Oh. And so there is inequality that does happen that needs to be addressed.
You didn't have a family to support?
Exactly.
4 kids? That's awful.
Hang on. We have to be able to sing some sort of song. Some people, listen, a lot of you guys check out. The song time comes and you're like, see ya, that is so cool, I'm down. Go on and leave.
I wrote her and said farming.
The farming song? Oh, yeah. Farming for Secretarian. Then there are other people that I get messages consistently, and I don't know why you guys like it, but they say, unless they're lying, which could be, that's fine. We wait till the end of the show just for the singing. You're really going to let those people down.
The one that keeps coming to my mind is...
Brit's like, Jerusalem, Michelle? No. That's not going to happen for like another year. There's going to be some sort of British holiday, comes around, and I'll sing it like once a year.
Which one is it? Is it God Bless America? America, America.
My country, 'tis of thee.
And crown thy
so now you're just singing it.
With brotherhood. What's that? Which one is that? From sea to... Is it God Bless... It's not God Bless America, is it? Is it God Bless America?
I think it's God Bless America. Listen to us, Patriots.
Sorry. I have.
Mom says L&M Virgin Diaries for Princess Diana rap.
Nope.
We could just play that for them. For those of you that have not seen
Can't
it.
do it right now. It's gonna hurt my head. I'm telling you. We can go watch it though.
Secretarian says, Leah, that was my response, and I was told that I might decide to get married.
No, it's not God Bless America.
It's
Come up with another song. No. There's a song that's coming to my head, but no. If you're gonna want to sing a song, sister, you gotta come up with
Oh, beautiful. Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, I think that is it.
There you go. Find the words. For spacious skies.
Is that how? But is that what it's called?
I don't know. For amber waves of rain. America the Beautiful. Close enough.
Scout songs. Okay, you start out.
Okay, go. Okay. Oh, beautiful, for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountains' majesty above the fruited plains. America, America, God shed his grace on thee and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Was that Uncle Jack? Go ahead.
Oh, beautiful for pilgrim feet whose stem in passion stress, a thoroughfare for freedom beat across the wilderness. America, America, God meant thy every flaw, confirm thy soul with self-control, thy liberty in law.
Woo! Hot dog! Oh, beautiful for heroes proved in liberating strife, who more than self their country loved, and mercy more than life. America, America, may God thy gold refine to lost success be nobleness, and every gain divine. Yeah, you just set the bar really high there, man.
You could just.
I tried.
Beautiful, of hatred dream that sees beyond the years. Thine alabaster cities gleam, undimmed by human tears. America, America, God shed his grace on thee and crown thy good
job.
You did a good job.
No, I just
Stick
tried.
with your singing
Stick
voice.
with my singing voice.
It's good.
Stick in your zone. This is you. This is where you should stay. Leah sings that. That song is in Leah's zone. Well done. That was really fun. I see. Aren't you glad we sang a song?
Yeah, it's a good song.
That's a good
Anointing
song.
flowing on that one,
Oh
man.
my gosh. Kenneth Curtis said you gave him goosebumps.
Wow. Praise God. This is a good song.
Oh, that is a good song.
Talks about confirm thy soul with self-control.
And that's the thing. That's
a
lyric
That
is what it boils down to in across the board. Every problem can be solved through self-control. And here in the United States, our founding fathers knew that in order to have a great country, you had to start
religious
out
and moral
with
people. When we say
self-control.
religious and moral people, it's basically just self-control. Don't do bad things. You want to do them, don't do them.
Right.
Just don't do them. You want to go rob a store, don't do it. Just,
I'm sorry.
Every
Rednecks
time we do this, we go off track into something
says
weird.
beautiful. They need you ladies to sing at the next inauguration.
No, no, they don't.
No, they don't. They do not.
Nope,
they do not. That's so nice of you. That's
nice of you.
Nice
It
of
takes
you.
the Holy Spirit for self-control.
It does take the Holy Spirit for
does.
self-control.
That's what it takes. That's what. Yeah. Takes the
Oh
Holy
my
Spirit for
gosh.
self-control.
All right, you guys. So I want to thank our moderators who were here. Worth a Look didn't get here till late because I forgot to tell him, and obviously he didn't get a notification. But thank you.
Justin with a Y.
Maia, Gary, Kelly, Stacy was here earlier. I know I'm missing somebody.
We go
here.
live every
I told them that
Friday at
already,
6,
though.
Sunday at
Told them
1,
that.
where the UK News, P.O. Box 107, Milford,
didn't tell them
Ohio,
that.
45150. Follow us on Facebook. Find us on Twitter.
We love you.
And God loves you.
So
and
God
bless the USA and
the UK and
the
Poland
UK
and everywhere
and
you all are
Poland
at.
and Haiti and Africa and South America and San Salvador, and get out the gangs from San Salvador.
Curtis says that his church, Kenneth Curtis, says that his church has an open mic. That could get scary.
Oh, man.
I don't know about that. I don't know. Speaking of
You
open
should, though.
mics,
It's
if you
actually
guys
good.
didn't see the end of our last segment, we didn't know that I hadn't signed us off here. And Leah was down with Jasper. And she's had diarrhea lately.
So
and she's
I
got
had to
long
trim
fur,
her
so we need
ear.
to trim around that area to make sure it stays nice and clean. And Leah was asking me if we want to trim that. And our mom finally comes out after a few minutes and says,
You're
still
going,
on.
right?
So, yeah, that was...
Yep. About that.
About that. Oops. All right, you guys. I'm Brian, and so's my wife. Worth a look. I don't even know. You people, they carry on these conversations, and I look over. I have no idea what's going on. But you're like a family. You're our family, and we love you. Okay, we'll see you guys back here Sunday. We're probably not going to go.
Brothers.
We're not going to go live tomorrow, probably, unless something big happens.
Yeah,
Right?
if something big breaking news.
But Sunday we will.
See you at 1.
Stay warm.
I was cold, all alone. No place for home. Every day, so afraid. But you called my